There's a whispering gallery hidden inside one of the busiest train stations on Earth, where two people standing in opposite corners, 40 feet apart facing a wall of stone, can hear each other's whispers as clearly as if they were standing side by side. Nearly 1 million commuters pass directly beside it every single day, and most of them have absolutely no idea it exists. That's New York in one strange little detail, a city so loud, so relentlessly fast, that some of its most extraordinary secrets survive purely because nobody has time to stop and look for them. Tonight we're slowing down anyway. We're going into a subway system with an abandoned station more beautiful than most of the ones still in use. A park with a hidden forest most visitors walk right past. A neighborhood where more languages are spoken than almost anywhere else on the planet. And a bridge that killed its own designer before a single stone was laid. By the time this ends, you'll understand why people who've lived here their entire lives still say this city has a way of surprising you, decade after decade, if you're paying attention. Beneath the streets, the hidden beauty of the subways start underground, because that's genuinely where this city reveals itself first. The New York City subway carries over 3.5 million riders on an average day, across a system so sprawling that if you laid every track end to end, it would stretch roughly the distance from New York to Chicago and back. Most of it is loud, fluorescent and unglamorous, but ride the 6 train downtown and stay on past the last stop. And if you catch the right moment, you'll glimpse City Hall Station through the window. A station abandoned since 1945. Its ceiling made of Gustavino tile, curved skylights once designed to let sunlight pour directly onto the platform below. It was considered too ornate, too curved, too impractical for the newer, longer trains eventually introduced. And it's been sitting there ever since, a piece of turn-of-the-century elegance, quietly decaying beneath a city that outgrew it. But that's only the beginning, because a short walk uptown brings you to Grand Central Terminal. And the ceiling here stops people mid-stride the moment they walk in, a sweeping mural of the zodiac, painted across the main concourse in gold leaf against a deep blue-green background, containing an odd, deliberate mistake. The entire sky is painted backward, mirrored from how the constellations actually appear from Earth. Theories vary on why. Some say it was based on a medieval manuscript showing the sky as seen from outside the celestial sphere. Others insist it was simply an error nobody bothered to correct once discovered. Head down to the lower level, near the Oyster Bar, and you'll find that whispering gallery, a low archway where the curved tile ceiling carries sound in a perfect arc from one corner to the other. A physics quirk locals use, half jokingly, half seriously, for marriage proposals. Hidden nature in the heart of Manhattan just when you think you've found the city's most surprising corner. Central Park pulls you somewhere that feels almost impossible in the middle of Manhattan. Most visitors stick to the main paths. Bethesda Terrace, Strawberry Fields, the Boat Lake, but tucked into the southeast corner sits the Hallett Nature Sanctuary, 4 acres fenced off and left to grow wild for decades, reopened to the public only in 2016 after being closed for nearly a century. Walk through, and the sound of traffic disappears almost entirely within a few dozen steps, replaced by actual birdsong, dense undergrowth, and a small pond where herons occasionally wade. An entire pocket of near wilderness sitting less than 100 yards from some of the most expensive real estate on the planet. Central Park itself isn't natural at all. Every hill, lake, and boulder was carefully engineered in the 1850s and 60s. A man-made landscape built specifically to feel wild, which somehow makes moments like this even stranger once you know the truth. There's one park in this city that used to be something almost nobody would have wanted to walk through at all. The Skyline, an elevated park now threading nearly 1.5 miles above the streets of Manhattan's west side, was originally an active freight rail line built in the 1930s specifically to lift dangerous street-level train traffic off the ground. After a series of fatal collisions earned 10th Avenue the grim nickname, Death Avenue. The line fell out of use by the 1980s and sat abandoned for over 2 decades, tracks slowly disappearing under wild grass and self-seeded trees that took root in the gaps between rusting rails. Rather than tearing it down, as the city initially planned, a small group of neighborhood residents fought to preserve it. And today you can walk the exact same rusted tracks. Now woven directly into the park's landscaping, wildflowers and grasses deliberately planted to echo the wild, overgrown beauty that convinced people to save it in the first place. Look down between buildings as you walk, and you'll catch glimpses of ordinary street life happening below. Delivery trucks, taxis, pedestrians, none of them looking up. Completely unaware they're being watched from a garden that shouldn't, by any reasonable logic, exist above their heads at all. The bridge that changed New York forever, there's one story about this city's most famous bridge that almost nobody knows walking across it today. The Brooklyn Bridge, when it opened in 1883, was the longest suspension bridge in the world. And its construction killed at least 27 workers, including its original chief engineer, John Roebling, who died of tetanus after his foot was crushed during a surveying accident before construction even properly began. His son, Washington Roebling, took over the project, only to develop severe decompression sickness from working in the underwater caissons, leaving him partially paralyzed and largely confined to his apartment for years. He finished the bridge anyway, watching construction daily through a telescope and relaying instructions through his wife, Emily Roebling, who became so involved in the engineering that many historians now credit her as functionally the project's chief engineer for its final years. Walk across at sunset today, the cables casting long shadows across the wooden promenade, Manhattan's skyline glowing gold behind you. And it's worth remembering that everything beneath your feet nearly cost an entire family everything to build. After dark, neighborhoods full of hidden stories. What happens in this city after dark is almost impossible to fully capture, because it changes block by block. Head into Greenwich Village, and small unmarked basement jazz clubs still operate exactly the way they did decades ago. Some entered through doors with no sign at all. Just a small buzzer and a doorman who's seen every kind of person walk through. This neighborhood's narrow, oddly angled streets, confusing even to locals, exist because they predate the city's rigid street grid entirely, originally following old colonial-era cowpaths and property lines from a time before Manhattan was planned on paper at all. A few blocks over, Chinatown and Little Italy blend into each other so seamlessly that a single street can shift from dim-sum restaurants to century-old Italian bakeries within a few dozen steps. The smell of roasted duck mixing with fresh cannoli in a way that somehow makes complete sense here and nowhere else. The world's most diverse city, there's one hidden detail about this city that surprises almost everyone who actually stops to notice it. More than 800 languages are spoken across New York City, making it, by a significant margin, the most linguistically diverse city on Earth. More languages than entire countries. Ride the 7 train out through Queens, sometimes called the most diverse urban area on the planet, and within a single subway line you'll pass through neighborhoods where the dominant language shifts from Spanish to Mandarin to Korean to Bengali to Greek. Within a matter of stops, each community's food, signage, and rhythm changing completely block by block. Get off in Jackson Heights around dinner time and you can genuinely eat your way through South Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East within a 4-block radius, without a single flight required. So maybe what makes this city unforgettable isn't the skyline everyone already recognizes. Maybe it's everything hiding just beneath it. The abandoned station, the whispering wall, the wild pocket of forest in the middle of Manhattan, still there, quietly waiting for anyone willing to slow down. If this journey inspired you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which destination you're adding to your bucket list.